13 Hours is not a story about what happened in Washington or on TV talk shows on Sunday mornings and all that stuff. This is a story close to the ground, from the people who actually lived it, the men who actually fought it, who lived, and tragically, some who died. And so the minute we step away from that, we're stepping farther and farther from the truth that we know. So the idea is to record for history outside of politics, outside of who said what in Washington, to have something you can hand somebody and say, this is what happened September 11th and 12th, 2012 in Benghazi. Benghazi in the summer of 2012 was a lawless place. There was no functioning government. There were a number of different militias fighting for power, collecting the guns and the large weapons that had been left over from the Gaddafi administration. People were sort of jostling for power. You had a rise of Islamic militias that were within a stone's throw from the diplomatic compound. So it was a place where anything could happen, and on a lot of nights, it often did.
Shit, we're boxed in.
This was a place where no normal person would want to operate.
Welcome to Benghazi.
Ambassador Kris Stevens is coming in from Tripoli Monday morning.
Ambassador Stevens arrived in Benghazi on September 10th, and he had some meetings there with the mayor and other folks. And it was clear to some of the people involved that he was pretty exposed there, that there was definitely turmoil in the region. He was aware of it as well. He was very cognizant of how dangerous the mission was.
He advised reports that a Western facility or U.S. installation may be attacked in the next week.
And then on September 11th, the next day, there was enough chatter, there was enough concern about what was going to happen that he made the concession to stay inside the compound all day long. And so that's where he wound up when all this went down.
Tripoli Benghazi is under attack.
What happened in Benghazi was, in fact, initially a spontaneous reaction to what had just transpired hours before in Cairo.
We got to Tripoli about 2 the next day, and then we flew to Germany and see the video, Susan Rice on TV talking about a video and talking about how this protest happened. And I remember calling Jack and saying, hey, dude, they're on TV.
This is a response to a hateful and offensive video that was widely disseminated throughout the Arab and Muslim world.
Like, are you kidding me? We took a real quick meeting. We're like, has anybody talked to you? Nobody had any idea we existed. Nobody had any idea we were over there. And all of a sudden, they have the answer for what happened that night.
I had spent months hearing about Benghazi, and the story had been so politicized. Truth was nowhere to be found. Everyone had their own goal in Washington.
While we await the findings and recommendations of the administration's internal review of the Benghazi attack, it's essential for the Congress to conduct its own independent assessment.
We have repeatedly said there was no specific threat indicating an attack was coming.
We were misled that there was supposedly protests and then something sprang out of that, an assault sprang out of that.
The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?
The politics were to the before and after were being kicked around, and there was nothing being told about what happened that night on the ground.
What we have seen over the past 2 weeks is a full-scale media campaign that is not designed to investigate what happened in a responsible and bipartisan way, but rather a launch of unfounded accusations to smear public officials.
And so we felt compelled to make sure the story gets out there the right way.
Mitch has a very strong journalism background. He's written a number of nonfiction books before and has really pretty unimpeachable credentials as a journalist.
Well, I met with the guys who were, the team, and the first thing I wanted to do was to separate them, was to not get them all together and talk to them, but to talk to them individually so I could hear each one's version separately. And because each one does have an individual story of what he did that night and how he got to Benghazi. So the first 2 months, I just spent time talking mostly on the phone, but then some in person with each of the guys, really starting from birth right up to September 11, 2012. And only then did we all get together and start talking about it.
I just heard the word Benghazi and was like, you know, it took 2 or 3 more conversations, and he's like, no, this is the story of the actual guys who were there and how they got so many people out alive, and it's a real, you know, story of heroism. So I'm like, actually, that does sound interesting. I would love to read it. I actually turned the script into the movie studio on September 11th. It was the 2nd anniversary of the incident, and 5 weeks later, we had a greenlit movie. We were ready to go, which never happens. But Paramount sent it to Michael Bay, who had been looking for a change of pace.
Instantly, it became clear to me how passionate Michael was about these guys, how much Michael knew about the Special Forces community, particularly the SEALs, how involved he had been with them. He knew them all individually. He knew people in common with these particular guys. And he just had a tremendous amount of belief and passion in the material.
Michael Bay's taken this very seriously, and he is the right man to do this project. You know, he went to CIA headquarters and talked to the upper-level GRS staffers over there, and he spent a lot of time talking to the real people. I really do believe that, you know, his vision is to make this a great movie and to actually build the characters and not just have it be about the action.
Michael's been friends with SEALs for a very long time, and I think this movie's important to him for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is to tell the story of, you know, true heroism and people who put their lives on the line every day and actually show what that really means. And I think he has a huge connection to the military, and he wants to tell that story.
This isn't over till it ends, when they're all dead or we are.
The most important part of this movie is that out there on that day, Ambassador Stevens, Sean Smith, Tyrone, Glenn, and others paid either the ultimate or extreme sacrifices. And each one of those stories of those people is a story of service, a story of loyalty and patriotism.
Generations down the road are going to be able to read what we lived and how we lived it from our perception. And our relationship with Paramount and Michael Bay and the influence that they allowed us to have in the script, in set design, and as consultants on set, really showed us the importance that it was to them to get this right. We didn't do it for the recognition. It's because we still feel an innate part of us that is always driven to serve our country.
We're out there sacrificing just like we would when we were in the military. Just wearing jeans and a t-shirt now.
I never considered myself a hero. I mean, there's plenty of guys that did the same thing that we all did.
I mean, you're just doing your job that you got to do.
I don't think, oh man, I may not see my wife again. I may not see my kids again. I don't think that. I'm gonna see them again.
Somebody's looking out for us that night, because we could easily all could have been wiped out.
We're telling a story about real people, not superheroes. We're telling a story about real guys who have flaws, who have real backstories and real lives, who ended up faced with extraordinary circumstances, behaved in extraordinary ways.
I got a chance to meet the guy who I'm playing before I came, and which was a tremendous honor for me.
We've had 3 of the real guys on set. They've been very kind and supportive and very forthcoming with information that can help with the human aspect of the story.
My name's Oz Geist. My call sign's Oz. I was in the Marine Corps for 12 years.
Name's John Tiegen, former Marine.
My name's Kris Tanto Paronto, and my call sign was Tonto. I was with the 2nd Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment. I was in Bravo Company.
We always hear about the military and what they do for our country, but there's another element of people that serve after they get out of the military, but they serve in the shadows.
Jack and DB, you know, They also lent guidance to the book and the film, but they just wanted to protect their identities. You know, Jack, he's like a business family guy. There's people that live around him and no idea he was in the SEAL teams. And DB, I'd say he's kind of like me, not really talkative. And he just wanted to continue working. He wanted to continue providing security and doing a lot of those things that the three of us won't ever get to do again because our names are out there.
In the modern world, a lot of case officers, CIA agents, are in fact more likely to be college valedictorians than, special forces people. And so they had to create an organization whose job was to protect our clandestine services as they're operating in some of the most dangerous places in the world.
How's the team here? Good. 3 ex-Marines, 1 ex-Army Ranger.
GRS stands for Global Response Staff. We are the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency, and we just provide protection to case officers, the spies overseas.
We have no jurisdiction in this country. We're not even supposed to be here.
But we are here.
People aren't supposed to know what GRS is, frankly. It gets created in the wake of 9/11. And so for 10 years, nobody outside of a very select number of people had any idea that the GRS existed.
Going into this, I knew nothing about the GRS. And again, that was one of many things that really hooked me. I certainly knew about contractors and military contractors, but these guys are a notch above that.
They drew from the most elite special forces guys and women who they could then bring on as contract security officers.
We have an individual contract with the U.S. government for a specific job. We carry our own insurance. Everything is on our own. We run our own business, basically, as a contractor, as a security contractor.
And the GRS brought them on specifically because they had a prior track record of service to the country and a certain expertise, not just with firearms, but counter-surveillance missions and an understanding of what the counterterrorism threat is out there. They know when the route doesn't look right. They know when there's a kidnapping threat and how to defeat that.
We gotta go.
That is our main bread and butter job, protection. But no earpieces, no guns showing. I mean, it's trying to blend in with the local populace. It's great, and it was a great contract.
The annex, it was home for the time that we're in Benghazi, our safe place, so to speak. Anything bad could happen out there, but we knew we had our place protected pretty well and pretty confident about anything that could come our way.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Actually, this is pretty, the setup's pretty accurate. Even the towers look good.
Yeah.
Are they gonna reconstruct that? Is that what blows up? And wow.
There's Tonto's pool.
Yeah, his hot tub.
Yep.
One thing that you do get to do a lot when you're overseas is you get to work out. And it relieves a lot of, it does. It makes the trips go by faster. They did good on the gym.
Yeah, they did.
Pretty accurate. Yeah, even the concept rower's the same. And it never worked. And yeah, the treadmill had treadmill and it never worked.
I was in Tripoli before, and then my next trip was in Benghazi. And honestly, it's like any other third world country you go to. Electricity's intermittent, so we always have to have generators. There's trash in the streets. There's cars making U-turns in the middle of the it's crazy. Kids in the streets. The atmosphere, though, was a little different. The atmosphere was it was just, I could never put a finger on it. It was just a shady atmosphere.
Say, where are we going?
We're going right now. This is to Charlie, Building Charlie. That's where the skiff was. And Chief of Base lived, our team leader lived, and some of the other GRS guys lived in this one. But this was the brain center of the annex.
I still like those.
Yeah, I like that.
This is actually where all the staffers do their business, and us contractors, we try to stay out of it. And if we're getting caught in here or we're walking around in here, it's just, then you have to make conversation with all the staffers, and I didn't want to do that.
What makes you special operators so special if you can't do what I need when I need it?
Must be Bob's office.
There wouldn't have been a bike in Bob's office.
Bob didn't work out, no way. That's funny. Actually, that makes me laugh.
We have a team leader that's a staff officer. He's an employee. and he's our team leader normally overseas.
The contractors, we always had to double up. The staffers, double and triple up sometimes. See, there was one time where I stayed in an area and there was 4 of us in a room, and then the staffers all get their own room, which, whatever. It is what it is.
So this would be Jack's rack, and mine be back over there. Got the curtain divider.
This is what privacy you had. That's it.
But you guys never use that anyways.
Hey, what happens in Benghazi stays in Benghazi.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that like some of these guys don't really know each other. In this case, Tyrone and Jack Silva, they'd known each other for about 12 years. They started contracting together. I mean, this was actually, I believe, their first contract together. They used to leapfrog. They kind of high-five at the airport. One would come in and replace the other one.
I hadn't worked with any of the guys other than DB before. I'd worked with Tanto in training, but that was it.
A lot of the SEALs stick together, and the Rangers stick together, and the Marines stick together. But when they get into GRS, they're all in it together.
We got 3 ex-Marines here and 1 ex-Army retard that likes to rub his dick on things.
This would have been our team room. Got to run this. What this is here is this. It just basically has our ops for the day, and honestly, this is really nice. In Benghazi, when we were working there, we wouldn't have had this much time ahead of time. They never told us what the heck we were doing. So I wish it would have been this nice.
With anything, you're gonna have different personalities and different types of people. Now, can you work together? You know, I mean, I think that's the question.
They talk about how they have 2 families. They have the families back home. All of them are family men back home. They have wives and kids, but they also have the family of the GRS team.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I had pictures of my family up and some other pictures.
Tanto needs more sexy girl pictures in here.
Oh, what is Tig reading 50 Shades of Grey?
You'd mess up, they'd put something in there, just kind of screw with you, and I don't know if I want to say what other people do. Put stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's...
Everybody really clicked well together. You didn't always have that with all the teams that you might work with in different places around the world.
Call of Duty and Halo, that's basically all we played. When we were have tactical training, we'd get on the radio and we'd go, tactical training time, and that means everybody come and play Call of Duty together.
Except for we had wireless controllers for the Xbox. You don't really get to pick where you go. They just kind of assign you to certain places where they need you at the time.
We do rotations to different countries. You know, you'll do 60 to 90-day rotations. 75 days usually the max. We extended to stay and help the ambassador's trip. So that's pretty cool that it actually is up there, and it shows that we weren't even supposed to be in country when all that happened. So that just shows that we got along very well and we were very tight.
I just happened to be on my 4th trip in Libya, and 30 days in Benghazi when 9/11 happened. We could see the glow of the buildings being set on fire from here.
Some of those Connex boxes, that's about the distance. If it was a straight line distance, that's how far it was away. It wasn't that far. And you could see the tracers, you could hear the explosion. That's why when we walked out the door, you could tell that they were getting crushed.
They were hired to play defense, and suddenly they got called on to play offense, to go to a mission that they were not hired for.
Jack, watch our 6!
They're not supposed to be protecting the State Department folks and the ambassador. That's not their job.
But we were gonna do that anyways.
All right, we got 2 guys down there, still in there. I'm not leaving without them.
If they're Americans and they're in trouble, then we needed to go get them.
We had to go, no matter what. Damn the consequences that would happen to us if we did or didn't. And as contractors, one of the consequences is because our insurance covers us for a specific job, and that was to protect case officers. Had any of the guys got injured or killed over there, from an insurance standpoint, they may not have covered their injuries because it's not part of your scope of duty. That wasn't a concern of anybody's.
But to see them come in and not have but 6 guys there, and that size of that facility, and they'd already been hit by an IED once. The British ambassador had been attacked recently right in that area, and he was hit pretty hard. He had an RPG come back through the back of his vehicle, and his security officer on the passenger side actually was hit. And our medic, our doc that was there at the time, our PA, actually saved his arm. Damn, I forgot I was going with that. I started having flashbacks, seriously.
It just kind of takes you back to where, where people were standing, what was going on that night. It was a little difficult, but definitely takes you back.
CIA! Hey, easy, Forrest Gump. Anybody else in there? Anybody else in there? No.
Okay. Cutting there. Reset.
I'm breaking shit and he's happy.
So awesome.
We gotta shoot it 10 times. He doesn't realize that's not a good thing.
Having the real guys on set was really important for us. I think to have them see what we were doing and approve of it was really exciting.
I broke the door, okay? What do you want me to do?
That's awesome.
I'm kicking the shit.
That's how you do it.
You never really know how these things turn out until the end, so to get a little check-in from these guys and say that this was working in the way that they would want to see it was the best fuel to keep going.
It adds a level of authenticity that is really irreplaceable.
3, 2, 1, and action.
Open the door, I'm gonna fucking blow it open!
Enzo!
CIA!
Ooh, that's a good one.
You have to ask them, is this strange that, you're sitting here with people wearing the clothes you wore and, going down the streets you were in this combat with? And yeah, it is strange. It's strange for them, it's strange for us, but the same token, it's a huge honor to be telling their story, and they're super cool about it and super excited that we are telling this story.
I want the world to know these guys. What are their sacrifices? What do they give up? We could not have done this without their input.
It's really interesting to watch the process. Just for me, it's neat to watch how it happens and how the actors work and how Michael works and directs people into seeing the vision that he sees. They're doing a great job of keeping it as accurate as possible within the time constraints that you have.
Ready, and action, guys.
It's a new experience. It's just another chapter. People have asked, is it surreal? No, not really. It's just something new. I can say, you know what? I've been able to do a lot of things in my life. Been very lucky. And this is just another thing I've been able to experience.
Are you filming? Making a movie right now. Making a movie. Unbelievable.
The actors have really taken on the personas of the actual guys, and you can kind of feel the camaraderie even between takes.
It's all about
That's not a still camera, guys.
That is it.
No. So what's happening here? Why are we posing?
You can read about the events themselves, but there's an emotional connection that you get having looked in the guy's eyes and heard the accounts directly from them. Instead of information, you're getting a lot more of the experience.
I was shooting, and then my eye went dry, so I kind of knelt down behind the wall, changed mags, and as I'm coming back up, that's when, right as I start coming back up shooting, that's when the first mortar hit the roof.
You get a sense of how one could ever deal with such intense things in the moment. And so I think that was really the most important thing that I got.
Michael and the whole team did an amazing job finding people who capture an essential element or their essence. You see Pablo walking around and you're like, that's Tanto. He's in Tanto mode. He's spitting off Tantoisms.
Hey, so when are you gonna invite us over for skinny dipping? What? Serious question.
We're identical. Aside from him being 6'5" and I'm 5'10", our attitudes and our demeanor, he's a smartass just like me. And we get along great, and we've actually become very good friends.
Who am I? You're Lori?
No, you're my fucking prop master, bro.
To meet the real guy was a little bit humbling and a wonderful experience. And then at the same time, it was just fun.
Tantoism number 136. The Tanto don't puke.
Tanto don't puke. You get that right? The Tanto don't
Tanto
puke.
don't puke.
Tanto is one of a kind. He's got no shortage of energy, no shortage of ego.
Actually, this is probably more a Tanto-style pool here. Disgusting, dirty, probably disease-laden. No, Tanto's not disease-laden. No, I'm not, I swear.
But you sort of strip away the outer Tanto. This guy's an Army Ranger. He's Ranger to the bone. He's a guy who is ready for anything. He signs his emails, RLTW, Rangers lead the way. And that's how Tanto lives his life.
We had a lot of conversations about Ranger School, about what his service was like, his military service, and then afterwards in GRS, a lot of his experiences in country, what the dynamic was like between the GRS guys and the CIA staffers, which is a crucial point in our story. And then what the experiences of that night and the effect they had on him, the effect that they still have on him today.
And I remember Ty, he had his machine gun, and as soon as that first mortar's first explosion hit, he just lit up. I asked for air support, At 9:37, I asked for it again. At midnight, and I asked for it again at 2, is we needed the air support. Mortars can be shot from 2 miles away, a mile, 2 miles away. I don't think it was that far. I think it was probably a mile, maybe. But we had such a small force, there was no way we could defend that. So, yeah, it is, again, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Shit happens, this war. Shit happens, people die, and politicians lie about it when it's over. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Hey, man. Are we on camera? We're not on camera yet.
Yeah. What? Am I interrupting?
None of us could believe the actual physical resemblance between Mark Geist and Max Martini.
I think he's my doppelganger, my long-lost brother.
There was one shot in the movie where Max is supposed to be sitting next to me in the car, and instead we put the real Oz in the car.
Are you ready for the bait and switch? I forgot to talk to wardrobe about the clothes, but
No one knew. They rolled. We got an actual whole take out of it. And it wasn't until the end that anybody knew it wasn't Max. I don't know how good that is for Max's career, because Oz can just take over his career at any time.
Get into my shot. It's my shot.
No kidding. Get out of there.
This is the first time that I've actually played somebody that's living, and I think all of us collectively don't want to make a mockery of this Benghazi attack, so there's a lot of pressure on everyone to get it right.
This is Building C, where the mortars hit on the roof with Roan.
Oz, I'm coming!
The first mortar would have hit the top of the wall right here, and that, because Dave Ubben was in this corner, and that sprayed him with shrapnel in his face. Then the first mortar that hit the roof was about right here and blew a hole kind of out of the wall and out of this overhang.
He's so open, and he's given me so much information, not only specifics in terms of what happened on the night of the attack, but also just emotionally what he was going through and physically what he felt.
He was really worried about wanting to get right is when I got injured and what that felt like from the best as I could recall. But when it hit, you know, your adrenaline's running, you don't feel the pain because you're just worried about making sure that you take care of business that you got to take care of. The biggest injury was my arm. A piece of shrapnel went through, took out 2 inches of the bone, 2 inches of nerve, and kind of broke the other bone, and it was just kind of hanging off at a 90-degree angle and flopping around. The worst part of it was the tourniquet. Since then, I've had, total, I think I counted, was almost 14 surgeries. I still have shrapnel that comes out every now and then. I'll be taking a shower, and all of a sudden, you'll hear a piece of metal hit, like the tile, and you reach down, and it'll be a small piece of metal or something that just come out.
And the mortars hit, like, over by the wall. They came through me to get hit.
Me and Tig probably spent a good portion of that evening together, either fighting out of one corner or another, and you know, he was the first one up on the top of the roof without any thought for his own safety and what could happen, because he knew that guys were hurt and injured up there.
Tig is a guy who takes in every detail. He's a guy who's like a lizard on a rock. He's got everything is in his sight, and then when he moves like lightning.
It's you and Roan coming in from the airport again. It's fucking bullshit.
Tig is played by Dominic Fumusa, a guy with really tremendous acting credits, great physical presence, and we just felt he really captured who John Tiegen was.
The little button, the little bipods would fall, but I never used it.
You know what, though? This thing is loose, so to make sure it doesn't wiggle, how about I'm doing this?
Oh, that's fine.
Does that look okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Tig and Dominic, I think they look a lot more alike than you'd actually think, and then in spirit, they're very similar guys. And I think that Dom was very committed to getting to know everything he could about Tig and getting to know Tig as well as he could. And they really had a fantastic bond, and watching them on set together was pretty great.
Exactly. My glasses.
We're good.
He fought so hard to get glasses. And then he got him, then he was like, oh, fuck, man, I gotta wear these all night now.
Well, you said you wore them all night, right?
Yeah.
It was really great having the real Tig here. He's just a great guy. I love to hang out with him. It's kind of strange to be looking at him because he seems so normal, but to know what he went through and how he performed under pressure like that, I can't imagine. And it's been invaluable. I was shooting a scene the other night where I had to shoot what we call 40 Mike, a grenade launcher. And Tig was 20 feet to my left, standing with the director and everybody else. And I simply walked over and I talked to him about the moment. I said, how did you do it? What did it look like? And then I went back, hit my mark, and did it exactly how he told me to do it. And then I go over and I said, how did it look? He's watching on the monitor. He's like, you got it, man. I mean, just to have that opportunity is so rare. That's a real treat.
I think one of the things I've had the most fun with on this movie is being with those guys. I think the camaraderie is something very unique because these guys in real life had a really great bond. And I think it was really important for us to all have that genuine and organic bond.
Ambassador Kris Stevens is coming over from Tripoli Monday morning.
Well, you'll be home.
Not anymore.
Seeing the guys get along and acting together, and it reminds me of being overseas with the guys. And it does hurt a little bit because I miss it. I do miss it. I miss it a lot. It's kind of cool to see it recreated and to see the same camaraderie between the guys.
I know who I am. I'm just a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
I'm glad they're able to pull it off. I don't know how you do it after a short amount of time like that, but they're able to pull it off, which is going to make the movie that much better and make that much stronger, because I think you'll see the bond that we had for each other overseas, and they're going to be able to portray that on film. That's very important.
They're like brothers, you know? They go at each other a little bit.
You know, I do have a gun in my cubby, and I will use it.
There's disagreements, there's arguments, there's all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think every one of them would lay their life down, obviously, for the other one, and that's the kind of bond that gets created in that line of work.
Any other 6 guys? I don't think we make it. I think we were meant to be together last night.
That's a big deal. That's how we got through that night, is the caring and the love. Alpha male, I don't talk like that. The love for each other really is. But
how's the real estate business? Pretty bad. How bad is that? I'm here, aren't I?
Contractors, they make a good living, but they also, it's a lot more sacrifice. You're leaving a lot more.
You know, the girls don't need a treehouse, Jack. They need you. I just hope that one day you're not gonna wake up and realize you missed the best part of life.
It's difficult on relationships, and it's hard. You don't get that demobilization when you come back. When you get off the plane, you're off and you're going home, and it's difficult because you don't get that decompressed time.
I did a couple more trips. I did 2 more trips after Benghazi.
All of us, except for Oz, because of his injuries, continued to deploy. We continue to work for the agency.
After Benghazi and after having gone through the injuries and everything, we as a team decided that we want to bring to light issues that need to be addressed. And so Shadow Warriors Project is a nonprofit that me and my wife started because it doesn't always happen the way we think it should, and there's no support for the family of the contractor, and there's limited support for the contractor. So now you have a guy that's injured and fighting to save his life and rehabilitation, and there's no support element there. He's now taken away from the guys that he serves with and the like-minded people. He doesn't have that support, and what we want to do is be able to provide that either through a network of people that support Shadow Warriors, if it's just people that are out there that are civilians that want to help, or it's other contractors that live in that area. We now have the ability to build a communication network so everybody can understand what is going on, that needs to understand and help each other out.
3,500 contractors have died since 2001. In 2013, more contractors were killed than U.S. military personnel, so, you know, people don't really hear about it. We need help, you know, sometimes. You know, we get home after, you know, we're done working, we don't get paid. You know, you won't get any medical benefits.
If you're serving your country and you get injured or killed, your family shouldn't have to worry about whether or not they're going to be able to pay their bills at the end of the month. And those are issues that need to be addressed through either a hero's bill, through Shadow Warriors, and through mutual support among ourselves.
To me, I think the entire movie really comes down to the true definition of heroism. I think that, you know, you hope to teach your kids to do what's right in all circumstances, and it's really hard to do that. And the fact that these men made the decision to do what was right, no matter what the cost, is something that I immediately connected to and am so proud to be a part of.
You know, coming back here and seeing all this, this is especially seeing the mortars, where the mortars hit and seeing how accurate it is, looking in that direction there, it brings back a lot of, honestly, a lot of bad memories, but a lot of good memories of the guys and the guys that sacrificed, of Ty, Glenn especially, that gave everything. So I just hope that this can get some closure for me once this whole project is over. But I don't know. Again, I don't want to get emotional, so just really hurts. That's it.
Benghazi is under attack. We need immediate assistance.
I've been involved with true life stories before. This is one of those where no aspect of the truth needs to be shaved off because it's inconvenient to the story.
We gotta move!
We have no jurisdiction in this country. We're not even supposed to be here.
Losing the initiative.
Stand down!
If you do not get here soon, we are all gonna die.
Every aspect of what really happened lent itself to making it an amazing and exciting and emotionally moving cinematic experience.
It is a human story about these very heroic guys.
The movie has a very bold visual style. It's sort of visceral and confronting.
Chris! Michael's doing this right now. It's a work of passion. He wants to tell a story. He wants to tell a good story, and it's grounded in reality with also this kind of twist of what Michael Bay does.
Action!
He can bring out these kind of colors and textures in every way, and he's probably gonna blow a few things up.
3, 2, 1, move! Snake, we're coming in. We're on property.
I think 13 Hours is an important story because there's a lot of danger in the world, and people are fighting to defend our country every day. And to bring those stories to life and to tell them with integrity, I think, is a really important thing.
One of the reasons that I was so excited about Michael Bay directing 13 Hours was because Michael had a great dedication to telling the real story of the actual events.
2, 1, and action.
Listen up, homie. No one needs to go, but we are the only help they have.
There's a lot of pressure on everyone to get it right, and we have a tremendous leader. His attention to detail is unbelievable, and he's so committed to doing it properly.
Oh yeah, come on. Give me scissors. Here, shred his shirt a tiny bit.
This is costume.
This is what I do for a living. Oh yeah,
He keeps a tight-knit team around him that have been working with him for a very long time, and he's got a clear idea of what he wants. He feels like a coach. Like, it's just cool.
Maybe roam, wave to the guys as you go by. You know, those guys. Then it's like we fast cut. Guys are over there jumping the wall. You guys going down the thing, down that way. You got these crazy garages. Remember, there was a soccer game that night. People were fucking into that game. They were still watching the fucking soccer game.
When you report for duty with Michael, you're definitely here to work.
3, 2, 1, hop up. And get down, both of you. Good, cut.
Got in there.
There's not a lot of downtime. You basically are either shooting
And 3, 2, 1, and action, go.
or running.
Come in. On me.
Or acting, or hopping off a roof or something.
Faster, guys.
It's been a blast. I've loved it.
Action.
How was that? Was that fun?
That was fucking great. That was a big shot.
Does it look like you're dropping people? Oh, fuck, dude. When there was a moment where I was going, blah, 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 and then the grenade went, and I went,
Gets it going, so you get a...
The set is very impressive. It's much more people. In France, usually on a set, it's about 35 people. And here, I think it's about 300 people per day. And the energy is very high because Michael is very lively and he's all about energy and he's always like moving from one place to the other. He's got like a million ideas per minute.
Put it like a barrel. Give me a barrel so we can see it. Car starts driving away. You run it. Here, shake it, shake it, shake it.
Here, fire 1 second earlier.
He's always trying to make everything happen at the same time.
I don't know. Wing it a bit. Wing it. It's foreign country, 5 languages.
It's chaotic, the storming of a compound.
One more take. Come on. Give me a camera.
But he really, I think, likes to work in that chaos.
That's how you do it. One more time. Good shot.
I think this picture is different for Michael in the sense that it has a different look, a different feel.
It's, you know, long lenses. You're kind of catching people as opposed to filming people.
Dion, the DOP, has given this film a look and the grit, the style, the depth, with the composition.
Let's rock.
We wanted to create a palette for our characters that they were in an environment that was hostile. And I think this displacement was important, you know, that we felt this world surrounding them was foreign. So for me, incorporating a lot of these artificial light sources, the sort of sodium metal halides, you know, mercury vapor.
When they come, they're coming to zombie land.
These sorts of mixed tones with these sort of spikes of green, it helps create this slightly uneasy environment for our characters.
Welcome to Benghazi.
Working with Dion and Michael, we talked about it being real. So it's not film-like. For the most part, it's all practicals that we installed or worked with electrics and installed that are movable, and that's on every single piece down here.
It was a sort of active war zone, essentially. And we looked at a lot of different tools to help the audience to follow this type of warfare. We did some tests prior to shooting, working with the Sony A7S cameras. Their sensitivity is sort of ridiculous. They have 400,000 ISO. We use these cameras in order to simulate night vision, the sort of laser, infrared laser technology that these soldiers had as well.
Should be an IR lasso visible right now.
We looked at the sort of GoPro arrays, which is a great tool for freeze frame wraparound moves. It was not about trying to freeze the action. It was more about trying to sort of, you know, create these impossible moves. We could move from, you know, from behind someone to their feet in a second and a half.
We have 40 GoPro cameras on an array. They're all in sync. We get the stop motion photography. It's gonna be cool.
And action!
3, 2, 1, fire.
We worked a lot with drones.
Start the drone.
The drones were both a sort of camera platform,
And action, guys!
but also they serve as part of the storytelling.
There is a drone from Derna overhead right now.
And so the drones became a great way to sort of show geography, which is so critical in telling a story which essentially is a sort of siege, is an attack. Michael and I discussed a lot this idea of really sort of humanizing these soldiers, of getting close to them.
There's guys on those rocks over there.
There's nothing there.
I sort of introduced Michael to Hawk close focus lenses.
GRS, where are you guys?
I felt, having sort of seen these Hawk lenses and worked with them a little bit, that they would be a great tool to tell the story. It's like a macro lens that can go to a T1. So they have an incredible shallow depth in getting so physically close to an actor.
We are overrun. We need immediate assistance.
Particularly in these heightened sort of moments of battle.
Dion is doing an amazing job, and it has an anchor and a human element. It's just one of the strongest visuals I've seen in years.
Just another Tuesday night in Benghazi.
One of the most important things to us has been to maintain the reality and credibility in this movie. We have advisors on the set at all times who have worked for the GRS, who every step of the way give us the proper guidance.
I'm a former Navy SEAL, and I operate with a team of SEALs whenever I work with Michael Bay. It's a group of 5 of us that are on set doing various chores, from security to doubling some of our principal characters for some of the fine finesse tactical maneuvering that looks very good if it's done properly.
Move, move, move!
I did 13 years in the SEAL teams, and I also did the GRS job. The last 5 years, I've been to Tripoli and Libya and deployed to Yemen, Iraq, Afghanistan, West Bank, and other places as well.
I'm a retired special agent with the Diplomatic Security Service. DES is in every U.S. embassy in the world. We have an important mission, and that is to create a safe environment for the conduct of foreign policy.
We're also doing technical advising, going in and making sure the sets look good, helping with the actors as far as what the lingo is they would say to each other.
This particular story is close to all of our hearts in my team because we lost 2 SEALs in the operation.
Glenn and myself graduated SEAL training, class 211.
All of us in my team knew both of those men, and it's a very important project for us because we want to be sure they're portrayed properly, and certainly we want to be sure the concept of GRS in the diplomatic field is properly portrayed.
So we're going to split into 3 groups of 2.
All of the actors went through a boot camp with real SEALs.
Will you sweep your guns to the front to the back? Which way do you want to sweep it?
Hey, how you guys doing? Right, okay.
Aside from physical training, we did a bunch of training with Navy SEALs back in California before we started.
The glide, the combat glide that we talk about is so important to make you guys look really professional. And it's not a run, it's not a bounce.
None of us knew what to expect. We got an itinerary that said, be ready for PT at 6 a.m., and it wasn't gonna end until the sun went down. I'd been hitting the gym for about 2 months, but I was not prepared for what we were gonna go into.
Okay, stop for 1 second. Okay, you're pointing pretty much the same direction he is, and you just walked by a window. Okay, so I'd rather have you focus on the window than double cover the front.
If you start to get sloppy with, so when you take off a little too soon, he's not quite there enough to cover your ass.
They taught us maneuvers and clearing rooms and how to act like a team and how to work as a 2-man team, a 4-man team, a 3-man team.
The next guy in line drops off, holds this window.
One of the things that I learned was 60 beats per minute, which is keeping your heart rate at 60 beats per minute if you can. So no matter how intense the situation gets, you try to stay as calm as possible. And you can see it in these guys' behavior that that's the key, because the more panicked you get, the less able you are to do your job effectively.
We're creating a scenario where we have a hostage in the house. There's a call for help, and the 2 GRS operators are coming through the door to rescue the hostage safely, quickly, while clearing all the rooms, checking all the corners and hallways.
Remember, you don't want to be in this doorway. There you go.
And then also, we trained how to do everything from shooting guns to reloading guns, the entire gun experience.
Ready, fire.
They gave us some really good weapons training.
Right.
We learned all the weapons that we'll be firing with on the movie.
Forward.
Eventually, we ended up doing live fire shooting, and like this.
We'd give them a sense of urgency, a sense of respect for the weaponry, a sense of respect for the concept of chain of command.
They did pretty high-level stuff. You just had to go through everything really fast. We're able to pack it into a 4-day period.
You know what's funny is that I've had a lot of weapons training. I shoot a lot, and so on the last day, they had all these steel targets up, and I was like, all right, guys, get your wallets out, let's do this, right? And I thought I was gonna clean up.
Yeah. It's all about that instinct. Use the instinct.
Bust them.
No. Very well, you bring the round.
Nice.
Sweet, merciful, G.
And we got out, and I came in third. Like, you know, it's amazing. We've got some real shooters. The actors can shoot. John Krasinski beat me. Yeah, he actually won, and Pablo came in second. It's hard to say that.
We have come across the gold mine of marksmanship. We're very, very pleased with the results of this training.
Come on, Bats.
The actors can move with their weapons, and everybody looks realistic and real great.
So we're going to get our troops up on top of the hill and replicate a very popular SEAL photograph of warriors on the hill before the attack. This is warriors on the hill after the training. All right, keep the war face on, guys. War face. Ready? Suck it in, Max.
I'm trying.
Pull it, buddy.
We got into a lot of long conversations with Harry and his tech advisors about what these guys do and how they do it, and you get a lot of information that's invaluable, but there's so much that's classified information that they can't really tell you. There's so much stuff they go, well, I can't really tell you the exact specifics of that, but let me explain that, you know, this is why we do this, and this is how that works. And more than that, you could see how these men deal with each other. Their personalities were so different, but yet they work together. You see the dynamic and you immediately go, ah, that's the world we're all trying to find. So even though they didn't even realize that we were sitting there doing character study on them, we were.
The whole purpose was so when we got over here, they were good with their weapons. I think more importantly, it also creates a bond. We isolated them, but they weren't allowed to go home at night. We just stayed for like 4 days in a hotel and kind of bonded, so they have an idea what it's like to be part of a tight unit.
I think it started, creating links between them and like making them a group, a solid group, spending all the time together that you really feel this brotherhood between them.
Obviously, going to Libya to shoot was not an option. We just really felt like we wanted to find someplace that had real texture where we could really recreate the world.
Remnants of the revolution, man.
And the place that best approximated that was Malta.
No, that's good. Let's go in there.
Down your...
What is this one got? Do we have Arabic on this one? Put it there. Where are the Arabic ones? Yeah, that's good.
Jeffrey, who I think is one of the most talented production designers working, has done an absolutely amazing job of recreating this world.
Jeffrey really worked hard to sort of recreate the sort of reality of the compound, of the embassy, to sort of put us in a world that was, accurate to the real events.
We looked at a lot of the footage, the original footage from the Ambassador Villa. So I kind of did my own research and started sending Jeffrey pictures of taxis in Benghazi, what the town hall looked like, what the Moroccan embassy looked like because they burnt it down. So we're in another very glamorous district called Cordine. We're here tonight with about 300 people, about 9 roads closed, 16 policemen, shutting the whole neighborhood down. Not a lot of people live here. It's like an industrial area with sports facilities, but it's also surrounded by docks, with shipyards and everything else. So strange combination of kind of industry and sports facilities, but also it's a great place at night because no one lives here. So you can come in here and really cause chaos, blow up cars, gunfire, and nobody really complains.
All right, ready, guys? Let's go. Fire in the hole. And action, action, action. 3, 2, 1, move. You want to go move? Yeah. Good. Let's do it again.
But trying to create the real events by watching explosions and watching real news and trying to emulate that so you get that feeling of real life opposed to something that's magical and over the top. For me, it's taking everything down a couple notches to where it's closer to reality. There's no big overblown, gratuitous action. We're definitely trying to give it a gritty, raw, natural, visceral feel.
The actors, they were very good. They were very into it. The big effects and big explosions, they listened well to what we were telling them.
That makes sense.
Which enabled us to get them safely where we wanted them amongst the mess.
It's up in your face and cathartic at times.
It's my first experience with stunts at this level, and I've just been fascinated by how the whole process works. I love seeing how the guys set it up, how they execute it, the differences between all the different explosions.
The 3 trees are loaded with rather large charges to simulate the 50 cal hits. They'll get shredded and blown up. We've got a large explosion at the bottom of the tree, and the wire rig will make that fall.
Tig, you gotta knock out the technical right fucking now, man!
Just finding out how you do, bullets in a wall and how they rig that and stuff has been fascinating to watch.
Harry gave a lot of advice on what would normally go on in those situations, as he knows a lot more.
We have a charge in the back, okay, and it's going to shoot the flame out about that long out the back. So make sure you're up on the sight, okay? Yeah, so let me see you mount the weapon. Get on the sight.
Dean's gonna go ready, and 3, 2, 1, fire. And you need to move a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
We
We had total collaboration with Kenny Bates and the stunt performers because in such a production that we did and the effects that we had and the explosions we were using.
Okay, just so everyone understands, I'm going to say ready and fire. 1, 2. On 2, you're hitting that thing because it takes 2 seconds to get there, okay? Ready, 3, 2, 1, fire. Good.
He's got to bring the pressure up now. Let him do his thing. Okay, a little more pressure, yeah?
3, 2, 1, boom! You get him higher, Kenny?
That's good. Okay, one more rehearsal.
3, 2, 1, boom! All right, good, let's go. Let's shoot it. 3, 2, 1!
The battle getting up to that compound was something else, and one of the big effects in the sequence was a series of explosions with a car getting flipped.
RPG comes in, hits that car over there, boom. Gotcha. All right, that would drive you back this way, and then you come in this way as the car's going up. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And then this thing's gonna go boom, and then, because this one's gonna go. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna go. So you get to here, boom, bam. All right.
Hit, go down.
But instead of you want to try to get a little air. Okay. Okay.
Stand by, guys.
Roll cameras. 3, 2, 1, and action.
Michael is very experienced in this world of big special effects and explosions.
Yeah, we just miss it, but then kind of go down with it, okay? Just so it doesn't hit you, okay?
So, watch it, miss it, go down with it.
With it, yes.
And then
in the movie, we'll kill you.
It's always complex. You know, you've got to be prepared. You know, you can't just let these things off randomly. There's real force that comes out of these things.
It's not so fast. It's like 1/1002. Show them the video. I'm doing my legal duty by trying to tell them as much as I can in 5 different languages. Safety is first.
There's 3 parts of that explosion. It was split in half, and the engine will be propelled out of the bonnet in that direction.
Got to double up on the air protection on this one.
All right, everyone on their marks, and roll camera.
Roll IMOs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
We try to keep it as realistic as possible, with as much intensity as Michael would require. He does like to portray the story in an immense way.
Tig, on your right.
Hey, there's no way these guys are in for a night. They got a little taste of victory.
There was a fire job in a car, which was a very tricky thing to do. 2 guys in a car that's burning, travelling. The big explosion with the bus at the end was quite a big thing. We put a fireball up 280 foot in the air, literally ripped the bus apart with a couple of huge great snatch rigs and cranes.
This bus over here on our left, where our heroes are traveling alongside the wall. When the bus gets hit by an RPG,
RPG! Incoming!
the whole back end of the bus will blow. And our guys will cower against the wall, debris in the air.
I mean, there's no substitute for actually having stuff blow up around you, rather than saying, we'll put that in post. With Michael, it's all real. And so to actually be there when something blows up is very helpful because you don't have to do a lot of acting. Your instinct kicks in.
Hello, Captain America. I'm fighting for my country.
Very good. Got it. Beautiful.
The entrance to the villa is very familiar to people who've seen the newsreel footage, and that's kind of what we try to do.
Get bigger gas.
More gas out of the windows, please, Tony. More gas out of the windows.
We had a building that had to be burnt and viewed from the inside, the villa, as they call it. That had to be designed as a firebox, so we could have a crew working in there safely without ceilings collapsing and things like that.
Follow him! Follow!
And there was a lot of fire there in and around that building. We got through a hell of a lot of propane. It's a very busy sequence.
Kris! Kris! Fuck! Kris!
Shooting the attack on the embassy compound was actually quite an emotional experience. It was real fire we were working with, and real smoke, obviously controlled.
We got separated. I gotta find them. Oh, wait a minute. Our guys, how many? 2. It's too hot. Go right now.
But the physical difficulty of working in that environment, it did really bring home the sort of horror of what happened.
I feel like America is a country that's gotten away from connection to their military in a kind of direct and personal way. And so if this movie and movies like it remind us of those people who are doing that, and to honor them and to respect that sacrifice that they make, that's really important. And we need to do that as much as we can.
I hope people can see the sacrifice. I hope people can see the dedication to their work. I hope people can see the complicated nature of these guys' work.
I think that when you hear that there was a fire or that they responded or that there was gunfire, those things, you think you can process what that's like. And I think that Michael's goal here was to really make a movie that was as emotionally connecting as it was sort of that idea of you understand what happened. You really don't have any idea what happened because what these guys went through was so unique and so intense.
We always do a bunch of unprecedented premieres. We did this really just it's for a lot of veterans, a lot of servicemen and women. It's for charity. It's an amazing screen. I think it's the only one in the world.
And as far as this, this is unprecedented. This is incredible. And me being a Cowboys fan, at least I get to see something good happen at the stadium this year.
There are a lot of people here. This is a great place to show it because this is the heartland of America. It's a powerful movie, and you know, hopefully this gets the word out. How many people in the military are here? This is why I made it. I made it for you guys.
It's an honor to be here with them and to have them all have their families here, just to get to share this moment with them.
What I have here in my arms is why we do what we do. I mean, not just for our own, but for everybody out there. That's why we're willing to go out there and do what we need to do so everybody can have this back home.
It's unbelievable. And I'm very proud that people still cared about the story this long after. Not only the fans here to support it, but people like Erwin Stoff and Michael Bay and all the actors put this much heart into it and effort into to make it. You couldn't have done it any better.
You know, Mike Bay did a really good job on it. I mean, overall, I can tell everybody it's going to be a gut check for people who thought they knew what it was.
I think it's wonderful. I mean, this is the respect they deserve. So for me, more importantly than how the movie does, the fact that these guys are happy and the fact that these guys are clapping as loud as they are for our heroes, it's the reason why we did it.
Come on up here. Come on up here. It's not only about us three. There's 2 other members that are still part of this team that are living, and then it's the other 2
Ty and Glenn, that's what this is about. It's to them as well, along with Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith.
We wouldn't be able to do what we're doing without you guys.
Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me. Oh, and like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. The Lord has promised good to me. His word, my hope secure. He will, my shield, my portion be.